everybody. Today is Monday, March 8th. Maybe you can tell by the music that this will be a Lost recording. If you are not a big fan of Lost, I would recommend just turning off the video now because this will really not interest you very much at all. But I haven't been around the last couple weeks. Might give you a good excuse, but I've just been lazy. So what are you going to do? Today I'm going to be going over episodes 5 and 6 of Lost and answering the unanswered questions asked by lostpedia.com. Alright, let's get started with The Lighthouse, episode number 5. The first question is, how does Claire know that the man in black is not John Locke? Well, the best answer I have for this is that the man in black told her. Seems simple enough, right? It works for me. Who is coming to lead the island? Who is coming to the island? My guess is no one. If you recall, that's why Jacob told Hurley to bring them all there. Well, I think Jacob lied. He said that someone is coming to the island and you have to point the lighthouse in the right direction and whatnot. I think that was just a lie to get Jack there to have him see the deal in the mirror. So I think Jacob lied. What is the something that Jacob says Jack has to do? My best guess is that Jack has to choose to fight the smoke monster and fight for Jacob's side and whatnot. Why doesn't Jacob feel it is necessary to have everyone leave the temple? If you recall, he went to Hurley and told Hurley that him and Jack had to leave the temple and go find him at the lighthouse and whatnot. Well, Jacob could have very easily told Hurley to get everyone out of the temple, not just him and Jack. He could have saved everyone, but he chose to let them be slaughtered by the smoke monster. So I think that's a great question. I think it leads me to believe that Jacob is not as good as everyone makes him out to be. Everyone thinks he is. I think Jacob's not quite the figure we think he is. Alright, moving on. Who built the lighthouse and when was it constructed? Wow. No clue on this one. Hurley says we didn't see it because we weren't looking for it, quote unquote. I don't buy that for a second. You don't see a giant lighthouse because you weren't looking for it. I mean, I'm not looking for the sky, but I see the sky. I don't know, whatever. I didn't buy that. How is the mirror able to reflect places off the island? Magic? I don't know. How is the smoke monster able to be? How are they able to time travel? How blah blah blah. It's a science fiction show. Deal with it. Alright. That's a bit loud with our Lost music. How are the bearings associated with specific individuals? I'm guessing they mean the bearings on the wheel. I'm going to say each bearing gives a glimpse into that specific person's life. So maybe Jacob sees whatever in the bearings, goes through the mirror and looks at that person and finds out their name and writes it down on the wheel. I don't know. Why is Kate's name crossed out on the cave wall but not in the lighthouse? Well, I think the cave wall represents viable candidates. And I don't think Kate is a viable candidate because Kate sucks. But she's still on the lighthouse wheel, not crossed off because she's still alive, maybe? I don't know. I have to do more research than I care to do to answer that question. What did Christian Shepherd leave to Claire in his will? I don't believe it's really important to the story, just that Claire was in the will was the important part. My guess would be money. I don't know. Why doesn't Jack remember details from his life, such as his appendectomy? More bleeding over from the other timeline. My question would be, why is Jack the only person that seems to have this bleeding over? We haven't really seen it from any of the other characters in Timeline X. What makes Jack special? Because Jack seems like a douchebag. I don't know. Alright, let's see. Who is David's mother? Jack's son is David. I'm going to say Jack's ex-wife from the original flashback timeline. I forget her name, but I'm guessing it's still that same lady, the one that he fixed with the back surgery. Wants to dance at her wedding or whatever. That's going to be my guess. And why are she and Jack separated? Again, my answer will be because Jack is a douchebag. That answer kind of covers everything. Maybe he was a drunk, because his mom did say, offer him a drink, and when Jack turned it down, she said, good for you. Maybe Jack used to have problems with alcohol. Alright, moving on now to episode 6, Sundown, a Saeed-centric episode. Alright, first question, why can't the man in black be stabbed to death, but Jacob can't? Well, I don't think MIB and Jacob follow the same set of rules. The man in black or smoke monster or whatever in Locke's form couldn't be shot either. A smoke monster can't be shot or stabbed. Makes sense to me. I don't know. What did the man in black mean in implying Saeed could see Nadia again? That kind of deal with the devil. I think what he implied is exactly what we saw in the X timeline. Flash sideways or whatever. That's what he meant. You got to see her again. She was alive. Yada yada. How did Dogen's death permit the man in black to enter the temple? That was my least favorite part of the episode. I really don't understand it. Don't think it fits. It just was kind of like a throw in there that didn't need to be there. The ash keeping him out seemed to be the way it was going, and now they're just going to throw that out the window. And the ash was only effective if Dogen is alive. I don't know, I just don't like it, don't buy it, whatever. Let's see, how many of the others survived the assault on the temple? I don't think anybody survived that didn't, go to, Man in Black's side. The only people that survived, I think, were the ones who hid in the, room with, Miles and them. Let's see, how many defected to join the Man in Black? Looked like 15 or 20. Did Ben make it safely, was Ben safe after all this? Well, I'm assuming he didn't die, because I would assume they would show that to us. I mean, Ben's a pretty big character. They would probably show us his death. So he's got to be somewhere. We didn't see him run in that little room that everybody else went into, but he can't be dead. Why was Jin being held captive by Kimi? Perhaps he was delivering the money in the watch to Kimi, but the airport security took the money that we saw back, and I think it was the premiere. I'm assuming we're going to get a flashback a flash sideways, or whatever you want to call it, for Jin and Sun that shows what happened from when we last saw them in Timeline X to the present, and then they'll pick up that story and run with it. Where is Sun? I would assume Sun would not have gone with Jin to the mob guy's house to deliver stuff. At least I wouldn't think she would go with him. I don't know why she would. My best guess is that she's out in the city. Maybe she runs into Sawyer. I don't know. We haven't seen Sawyer in Timeline X, so maybe that could be a tie-in somehow. Alright, that does it for Sundown Episode 6. I would like to real quick hit on one of my theories. And that is that MIB or Smokey or Flock, whatever you want to call him, and Jacob are two parts of the same being or person. They were somehow split before. The evidence I see for this is they're both offering deals to people, like Jacob to Dogen and MIB to Sawyer and Saeed. Jacob offers Dogen his son's life in return for whatever it is, coming to the island and being a slave. Which doesn't sound like a really nice thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Jacob was really a good guy, wouldn't he just brought his son back to life and not made him be a slave? I don't know. And then MIB makes deals with Sawyer and Saeed. Let's see, it goes back to the idea of selling your soul to the devil. I don't think MIB is the devil. My actual theory is that the Jacob MIB combined entity was a fallen angel that somehow split into two different beings. The thing we see as Jacob and the thing we see as a smoke monster. And the reason they can't kill each other is that they're really the same person or being. Killing one another would be like killing themselves. So perhaps if they can get someone else to kill the other half of them, then their id or ego or whatever would be the dominant one. That's how they would be free. Like Smoke Monster said he wanted to be free. But I hope that wasn't too confusing. Sorry if it was. That's all I got. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful Monday.